What's good, everybody? I don't think I've actually really introduced who I am. So that's what this video is going to be about. So I am married, been married almost 23 years, it'd be 23 years in December. We do have a child. She is a senior in high school. She's going to be graduating this year, so kudos to her. My wife and I have been together for I want to say 25 years total. We actually met online. This was way back before all the dating apps. We met actually on AOL. I don't know if you guys remember that, America Online. We met in the chat room and then we started talking. Just started talking and we hit it off. It was almost like, I don't know if you guys watched that show on Netflix. I mean, you could send pictures through the direct messaging. But if you've seen that show, Netflix, Love is Blind, somewhat similar to that. If I had been in that mindset and to make those shows back then, I probably would be a billionaire by now. But we met online, we hit it off, came up here to Oregon, and that was that. I'm actually from Arkansas. Shout out to the Razorbacks. That's what this is, the Arkansas Razorback. I was born in Indiana, raised in Arkansas from the time I was 6. Um, Stayed with my grandmother for a few years. Then we moved in with our parents in Stuttgart, and that's where I basically grew up, Stuttgart, Arkansas. Shout out to the Ricebirds. Oh, excuse me. I'm not editing that out. I'm doing this kind of late. I should be in the bed because I got to get up and go to work in the morning. Yep, I do have a 9 to 5. I am a transportation supervisor. I supervise truck drivers. Shout out to all the truck drivers out there. If you see a truck driver, give them a shout out. They're the people that carry your goods and food. Could be food, medical supplies, tires, cars, all across the country. So give those guys a shout out. Don't get me wrong. I know there's some idiots out there. I shouldn't call them idiots. Some, let's say, aggressive truck drivers. Idiots. So, speaking of, back before I was a transportation supervisor, watching this guy on the road, this guy was, I know he was dead dog tired, fatigued, because he was weaving all over the place. And we were driving back home to Arkansas for a visit, me and my family. And I'm like, I got to keep my family safe. So I waited for the right moment to shoot around this truck. Excuse me. And so I did. And hopefully that guy's okay. This has been about 10 plus years ago. Hopefully that guy made it through that. And hopefully he pulled over and just got some rest. But a lot of these people, man, they don't follow the rules, the DOT regulations, and they do some weird stuff. But one thing about the company I work for now, you guys have seen it, Penske. They do make sure we follow the rules and we don't violate any of the Department of Transportation regulations. So shout out to them. But if you see a truck driver, shout them out, give them kudos, give them a handshake, give them a pound, give them all that good stuff. Yeah. I've been at this position for about 6 years. It'll actually be 6 years in November. I learned a lot on this job with truck driving. I'm basically in supply chain. I've done warehousing for a number of years and now transportation. So I got a good grasp of those aspects of the supply chain. So I actually got my degree in supply and logistics. I graduated in 2013. I actually went back to school. I started back in my late 30s. Funny story. Decided I was going to go back to school, and the wife told me she was pregnant. So it was almost at the same time. And then that next year we had planned to go to Hawaii. We had to cancel that trip because the daughter was going to be born around that time. It's been our first time in Hawaii, but we'd never planned a trip back there. So I think that's overdue. I think we need to take a trip to Hawaii. So I'm actually going to write that down, get that set up somewhere. Of course, I don't have a pen. Anyway, I'll remember it. I'm going to take a trip to Hawaii. I don't know when, but we will. Um, I am going to, man, I'm just, one thing about me is I start talking about stuff. Sometimes I go off on a tangent. I'm not one of these eloquent speakers who could just have a train, like a speak, like a, what's the word that I'm looking for? Looking for a word. Anyway, it's not really set up. I get a whole bunch of stuff in my head. I guess what you call, I'm one of those people that have ADHD. I've never been diagnosed, but I'll start thinking about a whole bunch of stuff at the same time, and then I'll just go start talking about this, then I'll switch to that, and then I'll switch again back to this, and then I'll go talk about something else, come back to the second thing that I was talking about, and it just gets, if I don't stay focused, it'll get jumbled up in my head like that. And next thing you know, I'm going off all on a tangent. And so I have to stop myself. I have to take a pause just to make sure I get back on the right track. Now, I don't even remember what I was talking about, but it'll come back to me. Then I'll start talking about it. Right. And then I'm like all over the place again. So I think what I'm going to do is just start writing down what I'm going to talk about. That's the thing that's going to help me. Start writing down what I want to talk about, and then just having it somewhere. Even if I have to look at a paper or write it on my phone, put notes in my phone, I think that's what I'm going to do so I can have some kind of structure when I talk about stuff like this. So just a little short introduction. I got a whole bunch of other stuff I got to talk about that I could talk about. Got an email from work. Yes, I get emails this late at night. It's 10:35 here in Oregon. That's the one thing about this. My day really never stops. That's the one thing I don't like about this position. I'll say that's the first thing I don't like about this position because I always have to have my phone with me when there's somebody driving, just in case, because you just never know. And I do 3 locations. We don't have that many drivers at each location, but I do 3 locations, and one of the locations runs 365. That's every day of the year. And so if I'm not on vacation, I'm pretty much on call, which, like I said, that's what I don't like about, one thing I don't like about this position. We'll talk about some other stuff. But that's just a little bit about me. You got any questions about what else I do or who am I? Throw them in the comments. Let me know. Shout out what you do too. If you're a supervisor, truck drivers, or if you're even a truck driver, let me know, man. I might even start doing like a podcast, just talk about these different topics. But little insight into your boy. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this type of content. If so, like, comment, subscribe, let me know. I will catch you guys on the flip. Deuces.